we are going to talk about India's physical division. So, India is a country which is having greater physical contrasts. It has diverse relief ranging. We are having mountains, we are having plains, we are having plateaus. That is known as tableland. It is known as peninsular India. We are having desert areas in the northwestern part. We are having coastline borders in the south and islands also. So these all together make the physical division. India is having diverse relief features. Like we are having mountains, we are having northern plains, we are having peninsular India, that is plateaus, that is also known as tableland, desert area in the northwest, coastline borders, and in the south we are having islands. So these are the various landforms of the country. Basically, because of the various landforms of the country, we have been divided into 6 physical divisions. The physical division is of 6 types. I told you Himalayan mountains, northern plains, Thar desert, that is also known as your Great Indian Desert, Fine Yuvraj, peninsular plateau, coastal plains, and the islands. Okay, so India, now listen carefully again. India's physical division. Okay, one more time from the starting, I'm going to tell you. We have started Chapter 7, India, Our Country. We have started Chapter 7, India, Our Country. And the topic which we are going to revise today is India's physical division. Okay, so India is a country which is having physical contrast. Okay, we are having diverse relief features, which is ranging from towering mountains to your leveled plains. We are having tableland also, that is your plateaus, peninsular India, sandy desert areas that lies in the northwestern part, coastline borders, and in the south we are having islands also. So on the basis of these varied landforms of the country, we have been divided into 6 physical units. One is the Greater Himalayas, the Great Himalayan Mountains. Second is the Northern Plains, Thar Desert or the Great Indian Desert. Fourth is the Peninsular Plateau. Fifth is the Coastal Plains. And your sixth is the islands. Okay, these are your physical division. Now, as you can see this map, kindly see it very carefully. See, here you can see the Greater Himalayas. You can see my cursor. Here is your Greater Himalayas. Okay, this green part is your plain area, northern plain. This green part, this upper one, below your Himalayan mountain is your northern. Here in the western part, where your Rajasthan is there, here your Great Indian Desert. Okay, this, which is of skin color, or you can say brown color, that is your plateaus. That is your plateaus. This is your coastal range. This one is your coastal range. These are the 2 islands, Lakshadweep Island, Andaman and Nicobar Islands. Okay. So mountain ranges, plateaus, plains. Seen the map also. Next, we are going to talk about the northern mountain wall. Okay. Himalayas has been one of the most dominant feature of India. Himalaya means, underline, abode of snow. What does the word Himalaya means? Abode of snow, means home of snow. Because Himalaya is having high altitude, lofty peaks, they are permanently covered with snow and glaciers. Because Himalayas are at the high altitude, lofty peaks are there, so it is permanently covered with your snow and glaciers. The Himalayas are youngest and the highest fold mountains. The Himalayas are the youngest, underline, and they are the highest fold mountains, underline. The rise over above 800 meter above sea level. Okay, the height of Himalaya is 800 meter above the sea level. Over means above this, more than this also. The range run in east to west direction. Himalayan range, they run from east to west direction. Himalaya have been divided into three distinct parallel ranges. Here the word distinct will come. Distinct parallel ranges, I'll show you. This is your Himalayan mountains. As you can see, the Himalayas. So first range is the Greater Himalayas. First range is the Greater Himalayas. Underline, it is also known as Himadri. I can ask, the Greater Himalayas are also known as dash, Himadri. It is the range rising to an average height of 600 meters. This range is rising to an average height of 600 meters. And highest mountain ranges, you know, Mount Everest, height is 8,848 meters. Underline, Mount Everest, 8,848 meters. Kanchenjunga, 8,586 meters. Makalu, 8,485 meters. Naga Parvat, it is 8,126 meters. So they all lie in your Himalayan range. These are in Greater Himalayas. Lofty peaks are permanently covered with snow. Okay, I told you na, Himalayas are permanently covered with snow and glaciers. There are various passes like Shipkila, Lipulek, Jojila, Nathula, Lipulek. These are gaps also. Jojila, Nathula are the narrow gaps between the mountains. The narrow gap between the mountains are known as passes. Okay, narrow gap between the mountains, they are known as passes. Next is the Middle Himalayas. That is your beta Himachal. Himachal range, you know na, Himachal Pradesh. That is the Middle Himalaya range. Height of the mountains there is 3,500 meters to 5,000 meters. 3,500 to 5,000 meters. Important ranges are underlined: Dholadhar range, Peer Pranjal range. These are the two important ranges. Famous hill stations, you know, Mussoorie, Darjeeling, Nainital, Shimla, they also lie in your Himachal range. Shivaliks. Shivaliks are the foothills of Himalayas. Shivaliks are the foothills of your Himalayas. Okay. Shivaliks are the foothills of Himalayas. Height is 1,000 to 1,500 meters. Height is 1,000 to 1,500 meters. They are chain of low-lying hills. They are Shivalik. In Shivalik, there are low-lying hills that is made up of sand, clay, and rounded stones. This is made up of your sand, clay, and your rounded stone. The valley in this range is known as dunes. Underline, the valley in this range, Shivalik range, they are known as dunes. So one of them example is Dehradun. Underline, the valley in this range is known as dunes, and one of the example is Dehradun. The Trans Himalayas or the Tibetan Himalayas, the Trans Himalayas and the Tibetan Himalayas, they consist of Karakoram and Kailash range. Okay, they consist of your Karakoram and Kailash range. Mount Godwin Austen, that is also known as your K2. It is the second highest peak of the world. Underline, which is the second highest peak of the world. Mount Godwin Austen, that is K2. After Mount Everest, this is the second highest peak in the world. This lies in your Karakoram range. Which range? Karakoram range. Famous glaciers are there. Baltoro and Siachen glaciers, they also lie in this range. If I talk about Himalayas, they are dry and very rugged. Okay. On the east highlands of Assam, they are wetter and greener. Himalayas are dry and rugged, But if you go to eastern side highlands, that is in Assam, they are wetter and greener. If you talk about northeast chain of hills, that consist of Garo Hills, Khasi Hills, Jaintai, Mizo, Lushai, Naga Hills, they are known as Purvanchal. Underline. Northeast range means northeast chain of lower hills that consist of your Garo, Khasi, Jaintai, Mizo, Lushai, Naga, they are called Purvanchal. They are known as Purvanchal. Underline. Next, we are going to talk about the importance of Himalayas. Beta, I'm going to ask you the questions which you are underlining in your books now. So Himalayas, why Himalayas are important? You know, Himalaya act as a protective barrier in the north. They act as a protective barrier in the north. The glaciers of Himalayas are main source of permanent rivers. They give waters. Indus, Brahmaputra, and Ganga. These three are the perennial rivers, and they get water from the glaciers only. They get the water from the glaciers only. So Himalayas they act as a protective barrier in the north. The glaciers of Himalayas are main source of water for the northern rivers or permanent rivers of the northern India. Climate. Climate of India is greatly affected by the Himalayas. Okay. Beauty is there. I have shown you the picture of Himalayas. Scenic beauty of there is Himalayas that attracts the tourists from all over the world. Okay. So climate of India is highly influenced by your Himalayan mountains, and there is a scenic beauty that attracts tourists from all over the world. Now, if I talk about the Indo-Gangetic Brahmaputra plains, or we call it the northern plains, where we are living. We live in the northern plains only, na? Northern plains lie between Himalayas in the north. Okay. These are stable tableland of the peninsula. Okay. In the south. So this lies between Himalayas and Plateau range. Between Himalayas and plateaus are your northern plains. If I talk about the west of the plains are Ravi, Byas, Satluj. These are the rivers. The tributaries of Indus, they drain into the Arabian Sea. Underline. What does the word tributary means? Tributary means when the main river, okay, when the small rivers are they join the main river. Those are known as tributaries. So many tributaries are there. If I talk about west of the plains, Ravi, Byas, and the Satluj, these are the tributaries of Indus. They drain into your Arabian Sea. If I talk about Ganga and its tributaries, like Ganga tributaries are Yamuna, Gandak, Kosi. They cover your central and eastern part. If I talk about eastern side, there is Brahmaputra. Underline. Brahmaputra is known as the Sangpo in Tibet. What Brahmaputra is known as in Tibet? The Sangpo. It is known as Dihang in Arunachal Pradesh. Brahmaputra name is Dihang in Arunachal Pradesh. Brahmaputra is known as Brahmaputra only in Assam, underline, and it is known as Jamuna in Bangladesh. It is known as Jamuna in Bangladesh. Your northern plains are formed by the deposition of three main river systems. I told you, na? The northern plains are formed by three main river systems, Indus, Ganga, and your Brahmaputra. Sand, silt, and clay, they brought by the Himalayan permanent rivers. You know, glaciers melt. They are the main source of water for these three permanent rivers. So sand, silt, and clay, these are brought down by these permanent rivers and they form your alluvial plains. When from the mountains, from the Himalayan mountains, sand, silt, and clay are being brought down by these permanent rivers, they form alluvial plains. The tributaries of Ganga, Indus, and Brahmaputra, they have contributed a lot in the formation of your northern plains. Okay, all the rivers are there. So they are the main source or main contribution of these three rivers are there in the formation of your northern plains. The Sangpo is name of Brahmaputra in Tibet, another name of Brahmaputra in Tibet. Like we call Brahmaputra river here Brahmaputra, in Tibet it is known as the Sangpo. This is a picture of your northern plains. The Ganga and Brahmaputra, underline, very important line. Ganga and Brahmaputra, they meet in Bangladesh and they are known as Padma. When your Ganga and Brahmaputra river, they meet in Bangladesh, they are known as Padma. And then they discharge their water into Bay of Bengal. They discharge their water into Bay of Bengal. At the mouth where they meet the sea, they form a triangular shape Sundarban Delta, that is in nearby West Bengal. So where they meet the sea, where they discharge into the sea, Bay of Bengal, they form a triangular shaped delta that is known as Sundarban Delta. It is the biggest delta in the world. Underline. It is the biggest delta in the world. What is the importance of your northern plains? They are fertile. First thing, most productive region because agriculture is the main activity done here. Fertile, why? Because alluvial soil is there. That's why it is fertile. So many rivers are there. So it is fertile. They are known as, underline, food bowl of the country. Dash is known as food bowl of the country. Northern plains are known as food bowl of the country. And it is densely populated. Densely populated means most of the population of India lives in northern plains. Most of the population, they lives in your northern plains. Now, if I talk about Thar Desert or Great Indian Desert, if I talk about your Thar Desert or your Great Indian Desert, it is in the northwest. I shown you the map. It was in the northwestern part of India. There lies your Great Indian Desert. Thar Desert is located in Rajasthan. Underline, where is Thar Desert? It is located in your Rajasthan. Okay, it is located in your Rajasthan. Keep on underlining. It is an extensive stretch of sandy desert. Here lies your sandy desert. Like in northern plains, alluvial soil is there. Here, sandy desert is there. Rainfall is very less. Okay, sparse means very less. 12 to 25 centimeters only. Temperature is very high in summers. It is sometimes 52.8 degrees Celsius. This area is very dry. No vegetation, no plants grow here. Okay, sand dunes you can see here that give appearance like it is a sea of sand. When sand dune comes, it gives an appearance like sea of sand has come. It is the sparsely populated, means less population lives over in the desert region. Here in your Great Indian Desert, Indira Gandhi Canal is there in Rajasthan. Okay, it transformed many desert areas into fertile areas. Because of this Indira Gandhi Canal, many desert areas are being converted into your fertile region. See, these are your sand dunes. It looks like a sea of sands. Now, if I talk about peninsular plateau, if I talk about the south of your northern plains, there lies your peninsular plateau. Okay, it is triangular in shape. You've seen a triangular in shape. It is the oldest landmass. It comprises of igneous and metamorphic rocks. These peninsular plateaus are being formed due to igneous and metamorphic rocks. The height is 600 meters to 900 meters. It is like a tableland. Okay, flat from the top, steep from the slopes. It is uneven. From the top, it is uneven. Narmada River flows over here. Vindhya range divide the plateau into two sections. Underline. River Narmada flows here, and River Narmada and Vindhya range, they divide the plateaus into two sections. Because of Narmada River and Vindhya range, the plateau is divided into two sections. First is the Central Highlands in the north, and second is the Deccan Plateau in the south. Central Highlands in the north and Deccan Plateau in the south. See, these are your ghats, Western Ghats, Eastern Ghats. See in the picture. Central Highland, underline, Central Highland extend from Delhi Ridge to Rajmahal Hills. From Delhi Ridge to Rajmahal Hills. If I talk about northwest, there is Aravalli range. What is in the northwest? Aravalli range, oldest fold mountains of the world, Aravalli ranges. Now highly eroded means erosion is there, soil erosion. Soil erosion, you know, na, removal of topsoil with the help of wind, water and air. So the northwestern part, Aravalli range is there, oldest fold mountains, they are highly eroded. Central Highlands, they comprises of your Malwa Plateau, Bundelkhand, Baghelkhand, Chota Nagpur Plateau that lies in your east. Central Highland comprises of your Malwa Plateau, Bundelkhand, Baghelkhand, Chota Nagpur Plateau in the east. If I talk about south, there lies your Vindhya range and Satpura range. There lies your Vindhya range and Satpura range. Narmada and Tapi river. You know, these two rivers, they are the west flowing rivers. Only two west flowing rivers are there, underlined. Narmada and Tapi are the west flowing rivers and they drain into Arabian Sea. They drain their water into Arabian Sea. A number of hills are there, beta. Mekai, Kaumar, Mahadoi flank. It forms the boundary of your Deccan Plateau. Mekai, Kaumar and Mahadoi flanks, it forms the boundary of your Deccan Plateau. Now, if I talk about your Deccan Plateau, but a Deccan Plateau is divided into north of tapers in the south. It is in the north of tapers in the south. After your Vindhya range, now down is your Deccan Plateau. It is a large area that to the northwestern plateau where basalt lava flows. Beta, in your plateau, na, Deccan Plateau, you can find black soil. Where basalt lava flows, there black soil is found, which is very good for growing cotton. Okay, so it is the northwestern part of plateau. It is means covered with basalt lava flows, and it consists of black soil, which is very good for growing cotton. Rocky block of this Deccan is tilted towards the east. Main rivers underline Mahanadi, Godavari, Krishna, Kaveri. Mahanadi, Godavari, Krishna, Kaveri, and they drain into your Bay of Bengal. They drain into Bay of Bengal. Western side of Deccan Plateau is your Western Ghats, known as Sayadris, underline. If I talk about western part, okay, western part, western edge consists of your Western Ghats. It is known as Sayadris, and Western Ghats continues with a gap in the south. If I talk about Nilgiri Hills, they lie here. Southward, if you go, there is Annamalai Hills and Cardamom Hills. Annamalai Hills and Cardamom Hills are there. So if I talk about western edge, there is Western Ghats. These are known as Sayadris. Western Ghats are almost in the gap of your south. Nilgiri Hills also here. Southwards is your Annamalai and Cardamom Hills. If I talk about eastern boundary, there is Eastern Ghats. Eastern side of Deccan Plateau is your Eastern Ghats. They are formed in a group of separated hills. They form in a group of separated hills. They are broken by east flowing rivers and are uneven. They are broken by your east flowing rivers and they are very uneven. So eastern boundary consists of eastern ghats. There are group of separated hills. Hills are not together. There is no chain of hills. Separated hills are there. They are broken by your east flowing rivers. East flowing rivers are Mahanadi, Godavari, Krishna, Kaveri, and they are uneven also. They are uneven also. So till here, we will finish today the peninsular plateau.